Okay, at some point in the investment journey, you went to a what was it with Grant Cardone? It was a What was that?
So it was I wasn't planning. So this is like so I went for a business boot camp. If you've seen the stuff, you know what his business boot camp he runs quite frequently. And I've always kind of wanted to get around Grant and his companies and educational companies and stuff. But I think COVID happens. So the time I'd wanted to actually try and do it, COVID happens. Obviously, you couldn't travel anywhere. US were like on a ban for like Europe people coming in for a few years, like 2 years. So the first chance that opened up, obviously announced in the business boot camp, I'm like, damn, okay, this is my chance. Open borders, I can get into the country. So then I go for that. I think that was like a 3K. I bought a VIP ticket. I wanted to be as close to the front as possible. I think 2.5 or 3K US dollars. So obviously I'm there for 3 days. I think the program was 4 back to back. Connected with some sick people doing, again, this is when I got exposed to guys that were just making serious money. I'm like flipping out, like how are you amassing so much wealth, and like just even understanding business models that are generating a lot of revenue a year, and kind of understanding that they're very simple businesses, aren't that complicated. There was a guy, he sells pasta to like luxury restaurants and hotels. He was doing about 8 million at a time. And he had basically his trajectory was over the next 12 months, doubling that. I'm like, damn. And I'm like, this is pasta. And logically makes sense. Like, your pasta, everyone eats pasta.
Simple, right?
Simple, but it's an opportunity there to sell that. So obviously, yeah. So there's this Grant Cardone 2-day experience in Mexico was kind of brought up, but I kept seeing that, I just kind of dismissed it. I was like, oh, what is this about, man? I'm not interested. Then one of his marketing, so this is how mad the organization is. Everyone from the security guy to whoever, they know how to sell. So she planted a seed in my head of like, oh, you'll see your brand, just connect to me on Instagram. It's like, oh, I see you doing amazing things. Why would you not go to this? It's a great positioning to be like around Grant, learning from Grant, being his network. The whole exec team will be there. Once in a lifetime, what you need, price point probably will increase for sure. And it's intimate as well. And at the time, I didn't appreciate what intimate with Grant meant, because he wasn't at the event because he was doing a real estate deal. So he kind of came on the screens, did like an 2-hour talk with us through the screens. And so when they were telling me about the intimacy of this event, I didn't really understand. I was like, what do you mean? Like, yeah, I can see it's intimate. But going to it and experience the level of intimacy, i.e. the mastermind was like 30 people max in the room with his exec team that were all there as well. And then kind of going onto the boat, the yacht, drinking, food, playing poker, cigars, all that stuff. Like, I'm like, we're having a conversation now, being that intimate with him and joking around, teasing, always losing, because he was losing at one point during the poker game. Like, what's going on? Get your CEO to come and play for you, man. She came in, killed the game as well, funny enough. So like, we just like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was like we were friends for like the hours that we were spending. And I didn't understand at the time, like how intimate that was. So I went to 10X GrowthCon to invest in more money. So that was 25 grand to go there for 2 days. 10X GrowthCon, again, went there. That was 10 grand a seat to be there. I wanted to be around people that are doing big in business, and usually they're the big players in the room, so they're spending 10 grand to sit in the seat for 3 days again. And I truly realized how intimate that was, and how a blessing of that experience in itself was as well. Because like literally he's on the stage, off the stage, security's around, there is no like Grant 1 minute. There was no time for that. Whereas I was chatting to the guy like every minute of the day, like we were just friends, if that makes sense. So
taking in knowledge and just
honestly, man, that trip, the exposure to wealth was insane for me.
You said you saw some more numbers.
I have never seen it. People were spending money like it was water. And obviously, these guys are all business owners. I've got thriving businesses. I think there was one realization for me is like where I had dinner with this guy the night before, and obviously regular guy, normal guy, you wouldn't think much of him, cool guy, good to chat with. Obviously the next morning we're introducing ourselves, and he's obviously sat on the further down the table. He got to his turn, he gets the mic. He gets up and he's like, oh yeah, so currently working at this $1 billion company, doing about $4 billion in rev, looking to try and buy this owner. So he's at exec level, working there, earns about 7.5 million a year, working in this company. He wants to try and buy out the owner because he feels like the owner isn't as ambitious anymore. He's kind of plateauing. He's got 1,000 units in real estate as well, so it's got income coming from there. He had 20 million in a Morgan Stanley account he managed. And I was thinking, wait, hold on. This same guy that I was sat with dinner last night, cracking jokes, having a good time, is this big player. I'm like, you know. So, and then what he did as well is, I think it was a move from him. So when you get in these rooms, you kind of understand you got to do a power play. So he invested £1 million into Cardone Capital, which is Grant Cardone's real estate investment company. Then there was Grant Cardone's business partner was there, so Brandon Dawson. He does this thing about kind of helping business owners scale their businesses, and that's a 400 grand all-in investment as well. So 400 grand. So within the first day of this thing, he spent 1.4 mil. And I'm like, and then the woman next to me as well spent 400 grand. I saw her write a check as well, and I was like, fucking hell, these like, where'd you guys have this money? And obviously, Grant made a joke the next day. It's like, oh, to Jared, did the check go through? And he goes, yeah, all cleared. I was like, wow.
And I guess that kind of seeing the reality of it. Okay, you paid the money to get in there.
Yeah.
Seeing that reality makes it real, right? It makes it like...
The exposure is just, for me, like, I can't tell people enough, like, get exposure to wealth, get into bigger rooms. Unfortunately, you have to pay to get into these rooms sometimes. If you're lucky enough to get around billionaires and multimillionaires who are going to give you their free time, which I know it's a rare instance. Like, you'd be super fortunate to be around a billionaire, spend 2 days with him without having to spend a single penny from your side. So unfortunately, yeah, that's the game. You got to kind of get access to these rooms by paying. So it is what it is. But for me, every time I go into these rooms, I level up my lens of what's possible now gets widened. And I think this game of, once you stretch your mind of what's possible, it's hard to kind of go back to your normal base. Like, once upon a time, I used to think 60 grand a year was a lot of money. I'll be made if I make 60 grand. Then I made it, and I'm like, come on, this is not even scratching the surface. Like, how, like, me alone, I'm struggling with this money. Like, what am I supposed to do with this? Then get into rooms where, like, people are making like 500 grand a month, £1 million a month, £3.5 million a month. And like, every time I see these numbers, like, and I'm like, showing me, like, I'm like, I want to see this shit, because I want, like, stop telling me numbers. Like, let me open your Stripe account, open your business, whatever accounts, and seeing the money, you're like, okay, this shit is real. Now I need to stop being ignorant and like find out what they know that I don't know. And for me, the game is always trying to find out the things that I don't know. Because again, the perception of people sometimes is they think they know it all. They feel like they've got to a certain level. Like, who can tell me something? I'm like, mate, 97% of things that you're meant to know, you don't even know exists. Like, you're not even aware. And so just try and get yourself in these rooms where you get exposed to these things.